Hello and welcome to Ed of the Darkroom on Adorama TV. I'm Ruth Medjber and joining me on today's show is conceptual photographer Jason McGroarty. Jason, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm really sad you didn't bring a cat then.
I know, yeah. Well, she's too sick, she can't travel, you see, so yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Hummus.
Well, we got Hummus when she was quite young. She was a kitten, and then she started to get really unhealthy. She started to get really skinny. And so we brought her to the vet and found out she had feline leukemia, which is fine. It's manageable. It's grand. Okay. You know, she's up at the house. She might get she's a bit sick at the minute. And so we started taking care of her, looking after her. She got a little bit chubby. She got a little bit skinny. And it's been this constant...
Oh, so you're looking after... People watching the show might be like, why are they talking about his cat on a photography show? But it's because you do this really amazing series of photographs of your cat.
I do, yeah. I dabbled in fashion photography. Okay. And I really kind of struggled. I don't really take photos of people quite well. You know, it was an area that I struggled with, and I'm the worst at interacting with people. So I came back, I had done about 3-4 different photo shoots at one stage, and I came back, I was exhausted, I put my gear down, and my partner at the time was like, there's got to be a better way, you know, if you want to just develop your portfolio. And I'd walked Hummus, and so we decided, right, we'll give it a whirl. So I threw up like this old backdrop on top of my kitchen counter, threw up a couple of little pieces, ripped apart an old shirt and threw it around her, and decided then we'll take some portraits. So we got like old lighting, set it up, took a few photos of her. They're terrible photographs, but that was the foundation.
It was created.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it was like these old hippie rags that we thrown on her, and we put like a little bead on top of her head, and she just sat there the whole time.
But how do you get your cat to sit still for a picture?
Copious amounts of treats.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it treats or like catnip? And
she's chill anyway, because like I said, with the leukemia, she's always at the vets. She's the best cat. She'll sit there, no problem at the vets, chill out. And then once it's gotten to the stage now where I'll set up the studio and you'll hear she'll come running out and she'll jump up. Yeah.
So I didn't realise that you started off doing fashion photography. Did you study photography, or is it something that you were self-taught and fell into yourself?
Yeah, I kind of beforehand, when I was younger, I used to dabble around in like ink and stencil work and loads of different forms of art. And I went for a very brief amount of time to college to do art and design in Derry.
2 days.
Yeah, and it was they handed me a camera for my first module, and I took a few photos and was like, yep, perfect. This is great.
That's all I need.
Yeah, I think I'll take a run at it myself. And so I dropped out. I was like, nah, you know, formal education. Jumped into it, and I had no camera. I started off with absolutely nothing.
It's a good start.
Yeah, and a friend asked me to do a portrait, and I went down, took the portrait, and then as a consequence, I got a lens of this old, you know, the Nikon F4 series.
Lovely.
Yeah, which was like the foundation for the modern SLR that we have now. And I started playing around on that. It was a clunky thing. It was horrible. And I
love it.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
It's so noisy.
Yeah.
And
it's magic.
Yeah, with like purple film and things. And so I went and would go out at night, because I was working at the time. I'd go out at night with a notebook, you know, write down your stats, exposures, blah, 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 write it all down, and come back, develop them, check them out. And then I got way too into it, and then I got a camera for my birthday and haven't looked back since.
So it's not just Hummus the Amazing Cat that you shoot. You also do some pretty cool fine art series, like really conceptual stuff, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Totem series, if you will.
Yeah, Totem, I mean, I'm from Donegal. It's saturated in nature and wildlife, and a lot of my work is based around like nature and wildlife, and you wouldn't see a lot of people in my work. That's why I like it. And it was kind of based around the idea that the wildlife is starting to breach the barriers of the city. And so I decided, I must do a project to kind of create that awareness.
And what a project you did.
Yeah.
I mean, some really amazing characters in there.
Yeah.
Well, I need to know how it's done.
It's, the fox is not brought into a casino. Yeah, everyone wants to know, is it brought into the casino? It's impossible even trying to get a photo in a casino.
So it's not like a dead fox taxidermied or anything?
It's wildlife photography, so it's like a 3-step process, and try and get as much right as I can possibly get right in camera at the time, so that it minimalizes the amount of Photoshop that I do afterwards. So I would take the shots of the casino first. I would know all the main lighting sources, so from the slot machine is the main source of light. And then I would wait, and my grandfather feeds wild fox at his home. Yeah, there's foxes everywhere up in that part of the town. So I sat, waited for the sunlight to be at the right angle, snap, took about 10, 15 shots, and then went back to the same place, made a 3D representative of the fox, out of like clothes, just anything to mimic the form.
So you get the shadow then, is it? Wow, okay.
And I just slice the three together, so there's no heavy Photoshop. It's just a nice net going together. 3 images sliced together, and it makes the image then.
Are all the animals in that series then, are they all your own photographs?
Yeah, they're shot in different locations. I mean, I would shoot ones in Donegal, others maybe in a zoo.
Yeah, because there's no bears roaming around, is there?
You're not exactly going to see a Russian bear standing around.
Like a wildlife Russian bear coming up the streets of Donegal. Where'd you photograph the owl?
They would be in like different sanctuaries and things, so yeah.
So you go and visit
sanctuaries? Yeah, I mean, there's falconry and everything up in Donegal, so it's easy to find someone. At the moment, I'm working on a couple of different projects where I've come back to the house and there's been dead animals all over my house. You know, I've gutted fish, you know, going out and catching fish and sourcing them.
For a photo project?
Yeah, and I would eat them afterwards. It's all ethically done.
But you had the series, A Place to Go, Please, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, you've created these fantastical worlds that are so... It's so cool to look at, you know, obviously completely fake because you've put a whole world in a teacup or in a coffee cup or in, you know, you've put Moscow into a shot glass and things like that. Yeah. It's really fantastical. That must be so much fun to just create, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that makes them network together and makes it, if you see an image that's been photoshopped and you say that's photoshopped straight away, the biggest giveaway is the lighting. You know, if the lighting doesn't make sense, then it's never going to blend well. So just getting your lighting, everything right is fantastic. And for the A Place to Go series, because outside photography, it's like a natural softbox in Ireland anyway as well. So taking any image is going to slice together pretty easily with it. So I had ended up putting them in. I wanted to sum up, in A Place to Go, I wanted to sum up essentially the whole city into one drink. And the most associated drink that I had ever come across, you know, which was London in a teacup, you know.
And what did we get?
We got a pint. Yay. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
They're really cool.
Yeah, it just removes you away.
Because, I mean, you've been adopted, let's just use that word, adopted by the fine art photography community, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, and they've taken you as one of their own and gone, we love him.
Yeah, I don't know how I got into it, really. It was an amalgamation of different events. I had started doing a couple of different exhibitions. I'd done one solo exhibition, thought, great, you know, I love doing the whole exhibition side of things. It's really nice.
I can see, because you're like, your resume online is just like, whoa, exhibitions.
Yeah, it went skyrocketed over the past couple of years. And then I started applying for, people told me I should apply for maybe like an arts grant or an award, send my name in for a competition, and I started getting notoriety from that. So I built like Fine Art Photographer of the Year and Conceptual Photographer of the Year. Those guys would contact me, say, hey, do you want to do an exhibition? You know, it'd be nice to see your work on the wall. I said, yep, absolutely, let's do it. And then from there on, it just kind of snowballed and it went crazy. Yeah.
Brilliant. So is that something that you'd recommend then? So like people watching this and want to get into more of the art side of the world, of fine art photography, is to get into it by applying for awards or competitions, or?
I think most importantly is just work on your work. You know, make sure that what you're doing is something unique, you know, because it's a dog-eat-dog world, photography.
I love this insight. It's brilliant. Listen, thank you for sharing all this with me now, but will you stick with me? And we are going to talk about the gear, and particularly the gear that you use and the constructs that you put hummus into and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Jason. Cheers. Well, that's all we have time for this episode, but Jason's going to be joining me again soon, and we're going to chat about the techniques he uses in his work. If you'd like to brush up on your own photography skills, then check out the Adorama Learning Centre. And if you'd like to see more videos, then subscribe to our channel. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.